Welcome, dear friends, to the Meghan and Harry Tales channel. I am your host, Kelly. Let's dive into our topic today. The Sussexes at the ESPYs. The ESPYs, a grand celebration of athletic achievement, is slated for Thursday evening. Our beloved Sussexes, Prince Harry and Meghan, are expected to grace the event with their presence. And what's more, Prince Harry is on the potential list to receive the Pat Tillman Award for Service. This prestigious award is sure to be a highlight of the night, and the anticipation is palpable. But as we all know, where there's light, there's also shadow. The upcoming event has been causing quite a stir among Harry and Meghan's detractors. It seems that the very thought of Prince Harry's acceptance speech being well received has been causing a bit of a tantrum among them. It's a strange spectacle indeed, reminiscent of the uproar that took place when the release date for Prince Harry's memoir was announced. What's more, this negativity is only serving to increase the interest and international attention towards the ESPYs. It's almost as if these detractors are inadvertently promoting the event they so fervently criticise. The irony is certainly not lost on us. However, we must remember that the Sussexes have always faced their detractors with grace and dignity, never letting the negativity dampen their spirits or hinder their work. So, let's not allow the noise to distract us from the main event. After all, the ESPYs is a night to celebrate and honour the exceptional achievements of athletes. And with the added attention due to Harry and Meghan, it's bound to be a night to remember. So dear friends, let's look forward to the ESPYs, not only for the celebration of sports, but also for the potential recognition of Prince Harry's service. The Sussexes at the ESPYs. It's a sight we're all eagerly waiting for. So, the ESPYs will be a grand event to watch, especially with the added attention due to Harry and Meghan. Now, let's delve into the desperate attempts by some to tarnish the Sussexes' image. We've seen a number of columnists and commentators, among them Lee Cohen and Arwa Mahdawi, who seem to have made it their life's mission to paint the Sussexes in a negative light. But let's be honest here, folks, they are failing, and they're failing spectacularly. Take Lee Cohen, for example. This man, who gets paid to write unhinged columns in the British media, spends an unhealthy amount of time spewing vitriol about the Sussexes and the Obamas. He's got thoughts on the Pat Tillman Award too, but we won't bother with those because they're as irrelevant as the man himself. Then there's Arwa Mahdawi, who penned a piece in The Guardian with the headline, "Harry is the divisive Duke and Meghan is making jam. Can the Sussexes escape their flop era?" What a mouthful. But again, this narrative falls flat because it's not grounded in reality. And here's the real kicker. These columnists, with their wild accusations and baseless claims, are only serving to increase interest in the Sussexes. Every word they write, every tantrum they throw, it's all just free publicity for Meghan and Harry. They're inadvertently shining a spotlight on the Sussexes, making them even more of a hot topic and drawing more international attention to their work and their causes. So, while these detractors are busy trying to pull the Sussexes down, they're actually boosting them up. They're magnifying their presence, amplifying their voices, and making them impossible to ignore. The irony is almost delicious, isn't it? So despite their efforts, these detractors are only magnifying the Sussexes' presence. They're trying to create a flop era, but all they're creating is a louder, stronger, more resilient Sussex brand. So keep up the good work, detractors. You're doing a fine job of making the Sussexes more popular than ever. Next, we'll tackle the false narrative of the Sussexes' so-called flop era. Now, this is a term that's been thrown around by the British press, who have been trying since 2020 to convince us all that America is growing tired of the Sussexes. But let's dissect this assumption for a moment, shall we? First of all, it's important to remember that the British press has a history of feeding this type of narrative to its domestic audience. It's a much simpler storyline to sell than having to explain the complexities and nuances of American culture. But here's the truth. The overwhelming majority of Americans view the Sussexes as just another celebrity family living privately and doing their own thing. They're not held to the same pedestal as they were in the UK. They're not subjected to the same scrutiny. They're simply living their lives, contributing to society in their own unique way, and that's perfectly okay with us. Now, you might be thinking, but what about all those polls showing dwindling support for the Sussexes? Well, let's put it this way. The Sussexes do not live or die on their public support here in America. They are not political figures. They don't need approval ratings. They're here to make a positive impact in their own way, regardless of what those polls say. So, This flop era that's been so widely publicised, it's nothing more than a fabricated tale spun by those who either don't understand or choose to ignore the nuances of American culture. It's an attempt to place a royal lens on a situation that has moved far beyond royal boundaries. The Sussexes are carving out their own path, separate from the royal narrative, and whether that path leads to a quiet, private life or to more public ventures, that's entirely up to them. They're not in a flop era. They're in an era of transformation, of finding their own footing in a new cultural landscape. So this flop era is nothing more than a fabricated tale by those unable to understand the nuances of American culture. Let's now turn our attention to ESPN's stance on Prince Harry. ESPN, a giant in the world of sports broadcasting, has chosen to stand firmly in support of Prince Harry. This is a clear contradiction to the narrative of the Sussexes' flop era that some are trying to push. Now let's dissect this a bit. ESPN is an American-based global cable sports channel. It enjoys a massive following and has a significant influence on the sporting world. Its decision to honour Prince Harry with the Pat Tillman Award for Service is not a decision made lightly or without careful consideration. This award is given to individuals who embody the spirit of service and dedication to others, qualities that Prince Harry has demonstrated throughout his life. Furthermore, the award is named after Pat Tillman, a professional American football player who left his lucrative sports career to serve in the US military following the September 11th attacks. Tillman's sacrifice is a symbol of selfless service and dedication to his country, values that Prince Harry has also demonstrated through his military service and his continued commitment to public service. By bestowing this award on Prince Harry, ESPN is effectively acknowledging and honouring his contributions and service. This is a strong endorsement from a reputable organisation and a testament to the Sussexes' continued relevance and popularity. The narrative that the Sussexes are in a flop era seems to be a desperate attempt to downplay their influence and impact. However, the support from organisations like ESPN clearly indicates that this narrative is far from reality. The Sussexes continue to make waves, influence conversations, and contribute positively to society. So the next time you hear someone talk about the Sussexes' flop era, remember ESPN's stand, remember the Pat Tillman Award, and remember that despite the noise, Harry and Meghan continue to make a difference, continue to inspire, and continue to remain relevant. Clearly, ESPN's support for Prince Harry is a testament to the Sussexes' continued relevance and popularity. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to appreciate the Sussexes' resilience. Amidst all the noise, the clamour, the unending barrage of criticism, they continue to hold their heads high. They continue to live their lives privately, refusing to be swayed by the negativity that often surrounds them. They're not seeking public approval or acceptance. They're simply being themselves, a loving family, carving out their own path, making their own choices. They've faced challenges, yes. They've been subjected to scrutiny, of course, but they've weathered the storm with grace and dignity. They've shown us that it's okay to be different, to break away from the norm, to choose happiness and mental well-being over societal expectations. They've shown us the importance of standing up for what you believe in, even when the world seems to be against you. I'm reminded of a quote by the great Eleanor Roosevelt, who once said, "Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticised anyway." And that's exactly what Harry and Meghan are doing. They're doing what they feel is right for them, for their family. They're not allowing the constant criticism to deter them from their path. They're not allowing the negativity to define who they are. And what about Kate? Where is she amidst all this alleged flop era? Isn't it curious how she's conveniently left out of the narrative? It's almost as if the same people who are so quick to criticise the Sussexes are equally quick to turn a blind eye when it comes to Kate. And so, we find ourselves back where we started, with the Sussexes living their lives privately and on their own terms. Not as a flop era, but as a testament to resilience, strength, and the power of authenticity. Thank you, dear friends, for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Until next time, I'm your loyal host, Kelly.